The Legion represents the greatest single threat to our world that we have ever faced. And in order to fight this ultimate enemy, we need the ultimate weapons. We need weapons of greater power than any we've ever had before in order to stand a chance. And that's where artifacts come into play. Every single specialization in the game is going to have their own artifact to seek out and to wield and to use against the Legion. So depending on your class and your spec, that will heavily affect the way your story plays out and what you're interacting with in terms of the system. So, well, what are they? How do they fit in? The first thing you're going to do when you begin the Legion experience after the events of the Broken Shore is seek out the artifact for your spec. Follow your destiny and heed that calling to take up this ultimate weapon. And that experience is going to vary depending on what class and what spec you play. So for example, if you're a Retribution Paladin, you'll be returning to the location of the Broken Shore to find and seek out Ashbringer, where it fell in battle and was lost, so that you can take it up and wield it. If you're a Protection Warrior, you will follow up on the legends of an ancient Vrykul king who was buried with a sword and shield forged from the scales of the dragon Neltharion, who later went on to become Deathwing. You will delve into his tomb and overcome the ancient curses that lay there in order to wield those weapons for yourself. If you're a Frost Death Knight, well, what is the ultimate Frost Death Knight weapon? Frostmourne, right? Well, Frostmourne was shattered. But the first thing you're going to do is go to Icecrown Citadel, find and seek out the shards of the weapon where they lay after the fateful encounter with the Lich King at the end of Wrath of the Lich King. You will take those shards up and you will reforge them into a pair of rune blades that are the ultimate Frost Death Knight weapons. So these artifacts, they are your true companions. They are the things upon which you will rely as you journey through the Broken Isles and through the world of Legion. As you level up, you gain experience, your character gains levels. But as you accomplish deeds in the world, you will also earn artifact power for your weapon. Artifact power is something you will earn through a wide variety of activities, whether completing a major quest line, killing a dungeon boss, outdoor objectives, winning a PvP battleground. Virtually any major type of activity in World of Warcraft will contribute to leveling up your artifact. Now, this artifact power that you earn, what do you do with it? Well, you're going to spend it to unlock traits that empower your weapon and empower your own character. In addition, you can also have a number of visual customizations that you'll be able to unlock and explore. Ultimately, you control the destiny of your artifact. You customize the path in which you unlock those traits, and you choose your path to greatness. Now let's get into the system a little bit more. So, Ashbringer. This is a quick screenshot of the UI for Ashbringer. Now, each artifact has a trait tree like this. It's kind of a grid that is overlaid on the outline of the weapon itself. And as you earn artifact power, you can spend them to unlock these traits. Once you unlock a trait, the adjacent nodes unlock and become things that you can spend power in. And ultimately, you choose what you want to work towards. You choose how you want to navigate this tree and what you want your weapon to be. And at the far ends of the trees are major impactful abilities, such as the one we see on the screen here. This is something that will essentially cause your Ashbringer to duplicate some of your most powerful abilities. Let's look at the Frost Death Knights. Again, different weapons, different silhouette to the weapons, and therefore a different outline to the grid, but ultimately the same general concept. You begin at a central location and work your way towards the things that you most want. As you earn power, spend that power on traits, and unlock powers. Some of these are going to be simple damage increases. Others are things that transform your rotation. Others are new major types of utility, like the one we see here, that allows a Death Knight to basically use Raise Ally on themselves to resurrect themselves in the heat of battle. Now, visual customization. So this was something that may have flashed by really quickly in the trailer earlier. As we see in the menu here, this Ashbringer, but then also a number of different variants on Ashbringer. We understand that in a world where many Red Paladins will wield Ashbringer, it's important to really be able to feel unique and like your expression is like your weapon is an expression of the character that you want to play, of the things that you value, and of your accomplishments in the world. So these different looks to the weapon are things that you will be able to unlock through a wide variety of means. Some of them simply by leveling up your weapon, others by completing specific activities, whether they be raiding or PvP-oriented or more completionist things in the world as a whole. And within each of these looks, there's also a large number of color variants. So there's a tremendous total number of combinations for how you can have your artifact look. Now, with Ashbringer, what we generally did, and what we've done with all of the artifacts, is you get the base weapon that looks like the sword you know and love that you've always seen in Tyrion Forgering's hand. It's the Ashbringer. Then there's sort of an evolved, upgraded version of it that once you reach a certain level of power with your weapon, you'll be able to unlock. But then we gave our artists the challenge of really just going off in exciting, new, different directions with these weapons, of trying to reimagine the fantasy of the sword. And that led us to things like an Ashbringer that's made out of pure fire, or a corrupted, shadowy Ashbringer, or one that is shattered and being held together by crackling lightning. All of these have the basic silhouette of the weapon we know, but they have a very, very different feel ultimately, and there'll be things for you to work towards and use as an expression of the character you want to play. So I know I've talked a lot about Ashbringer. Let's look at some other weapons. So if you're a Mistweaver monk, your adventure will begin by returning to Pandaria to seek out the staff of the Emperor Shao Hao, who's really integral to the very legend and the essence of the continent of Pandaria. So here on the far left, we see the base weapon that you'll initially acquire, then an upgraded version of it. But then we've reimagined that staff in with the inspiration drawn from the various animal gods of Pandaria, whether it's Yulan, the jade serpent in the center, or Chi-Ji, the red crane on the far right, or a Sha-influenced, Sha-corrupted staff, second from the right in between those two. Those are all things to work towards, and again, you can kind of pick the look that you want, pick the thing that excites you most to be what you show off. Ashbringer. Exactly. I can't say enough about the amazing art and the work that our artists have done on these weapons. They just blow us away. So yeah, the base Ashbringer, the holy version, and then fiery, shadowy, and lightning. Large variants, but they all have that essence that says this is Ashbringer. Next up, a new one to many people. So Fellow Malorn. This was actually a spell sword wielded by Mage Kael'thas. Kael'thas used this in his battle against the Lich King at Icecrown Citadel, and the sword was lost there. So if you play a Fire Mage, you will begin the expansion by seeking out that blade. And when you take it up, you see the base version on the left. It is a very Blood Elf origin fire spell blade, an evolved version, but then the fantasy goes in different directions from there if you want to customize it in a Fel direction, or sort of a molten lava direction, or that heavy Titan-influenced one on the far right that has a very different feel to it. It's all up to you. The Eagle Spear. So this is something that is new to the lore. It's heavily associated with the High Mountain Tauren. This is basically a fabled weapon of the Tauren tribe in High Mountain that you will seek out. You will track down the powerful creature that claimed the life of its last wielder, defeat that creature, and take this for yourself. The animal inspirations for the spear, you see, the base version is sort of themed after the eagle. Then in the center we have a wolf theme, a serpent, and a bear on the far right. This weapon will be something that survival hunters can seek out and claim. So next up, Frost Death Knights. So these are the blades that you will forge from the shattered shards of the greatest Death Knight weapon of all time, Frostmourne. The base version on the left, and then the initial upgraded version second from the left. Now, for these weapons, we actually didn't go in such crazy different directions. We didn't do a fiery sword. I mean, they're all kind of, it's a question of what you like most as Death Knight. Do you like skulls, or frost, or more skulls, or different skulls? But they're all different variations on the essence, the fantasy of what being a Death Knight is. And when you think Runeblade, this is what comes to mind. That is what your artifact needs to mean to you. Doomhammer. So this weapon will be claimed by Enhancement Shamans. Enhancement Shamans will seek them out and pair this hammer with a pair in your offhand that is made of pure energy so that you can dual wield properly. The base version, of course, the one we know and love that we've seen Thrall carrying around for so long, and then various variants of it, the Fel version in the center, a fiery one to the right of that, and then a magical crystalline one on the far right. All the essence of Doomhammer, but different fantasies to explore. Let's see, what's up next? So, Feral Druids. So, Feral Druids can seek out the fangs of the first Nightsaber. And on the far left here, we see a druid with the base initial artifact that just claimed it. He's like a level 100 druid. He's been playing the expansion for an hour or two. In the middle, we see a druid with the upgraded Fangs of the First Nightsaber. He's been playing for much longer. He's attained a more powerful artifact. On the far right side, we see a druid with spectral Fangs of the Nightsaber, and it's a totally different look of the weapon. I mean, you can see how awesome the weapon is, right? Oh, right, yeah. I guess you can't really see the weapons on feral druids and guardians. That's a shame. I mean, being able to customize your weapons so much and then not be able to show it off, well, that's unfortunate. Okay, just kidding. So if you're a feral druid, or if you're a guardian druid, instead of customizing the look of your artifact, you will customize the look of your form. So on the left, here we see a druid with the base Fangs of the First Nightsaber. On the right, that spectral variant. Now, of course, there's many different color variations on each of these, and more entirely different models that we just couldn't fit on this slide, but there'll be the same number of variants as every other class has. So that's something for feral druids and guardian druids to look forward to. Oh, and by the way, yeah, on the last slide, that was an updated high-res version of the base cat form, in case you were wondering. Okay, so that's some of what artifacts have in store for you. We're going to have a lot more to discuss in the future, but that should kind of give you the gist of what they're all about. Now, class orders. So, as Alex mentioned, in the